of radiation that would injure human beings. And if you have some problems in the space, there are also no people can rescue you, and it is very helpless in the space. So the space is very dangerous. On the other hand, Mountain Everest is might be dangerous, but it's still better than the space because there is still the air, although it might be thinner, and there is some water and ice on the mountain. And second, challenging. I mean that to go to the space is so challenging that people, astronauts, need to have a good physicality. They have to train their body, and they also have to have a lot of knowledge, such as medicine, engineering, and physics. Because if they meet some problems in the space, they need this knowledge to help them to care about their self and help them to fix the problem in the space. Finally, the astronauts will have a very good reputation after their adventure in the space. We know that the astronauts in the world are very welcomed and as a hero in every country, and they are very famous. For example, Armstrong and other astronauts in the world. And there are only hundreds of people. They had the experience to go to the space. On the other hand, climbing Mountain Everest, there are 1,000 people. They climb Mountain Everest every year. So although it might be challenging for people, but it is not as challenging as the space adventure. And the people from the space, they have a better reputation than climbing Mountain Everest. So that's why I think the greatest adventure must be a trip into space.
Interesting. Okay. Rita, ready?
So I need to talk about my argument first or give some.
You can talk about yours first. So give us your reasons, and then Evan will present or have his argument based on what you said.
Okay. So I think the greatest adventures can contain like 3 different elements. First is, yeah, it's pretty challenging, must be in it. And also I think safety still first, because you don't want to, like, after this adventures that you cannot take on any more good adventures. So I think safety is also a really important things. And so I think that the third thing is that this adventures can bring you a long-term benefit for your life. For example, I think climbing the mountain can give you like physical and fitness benefit, because that you can changing your own you can change your physical condition. Like, you know that after maybe climbing this mountain, you can know the clearly point that how you can improve your self condition, like you can exercise more, or which part of your body lacking of improvement. So I think that this is one of the adventures for that. And also for changing and challenging, I think that climbing a mountain is pretty challenging, but for you it's like it may be a closer reflection for your life, because that like step by step is kind of like step by step. Each step you need to because of your efforts, so each step you need to step it by yourself. And also like you can also observe the environment, and also thinking about the solution, that how you can improve yourself and adapt to the changing. And also last but not least, I think that greatest adventures cannot be lacking of like human interaction, because that climbing a mountain may be a larger group of people can try that, and it's pretty different from a trip to the space, because that not a lot of people can try that. And also during your trip that you need to interact with different people and meet new friends, and also maybe they will be your lifelong friends for the future. So I think these are some of the reasons I think why climbing the mountain will be the greatest adventures.
Okay, Evan, what do you think here? What do you have to say?
Yeah, I'd like to say that I think according to Rita's point, climbing Mountain Everest might be a very nice activity, but I think for adventure, it it couldn't be because adventure might be dangerous. There have some risk in adventures, and if the adventure is very safe, it doesn't. I think it is not adventure. So I think uh, a trip into space is literally more dangerous than climbing Mountain Everest. So I think on the point of safety, a trip into space uh, is uh, uh, is more like an adventure than mountain climbing, and that is my point.
Okay, interesting. So Rita, what do you have to say about that?
I think yes, the greatest adventures must be like dangerous and challenging, but I think that is like a percentage, not like the greatest adventures just need to be 100% dangerous. It can be like 80% dangerous and 20% like safety still really important. I think that also I want to talk about the reputation. I don't know why that if you want to search for your life goal, why reputation will be so important. Maybe like what you can bring from the adventure will be more important, like how you actually learn from the adventures. And also I think that a trip to into space uh may spend a lot of money for doing that. And also like just like what I have already mentioned, that if one day you want to share it with your friends about your greatest adventures, you would still want to talk about that. Like you can just make a discussion, like maybe he or her have done that and you can do it a little discussion between that and maybe you can do it together. I think that would be more interesting. That's what I think about.
Okay. Okay, great. So Evan, who do you think has won this from your perspective, and why do you think that you agree with your answer right now?
Um, I think I don't know. I think if I want to, if I really compared these two activities, a trip into space is more adventurous for me because I think it's more difficult for me to go to the space, and it also has a lot of risk that that can that is not comparable to climbing Mountain Everest. So so in my perspective, I still think that a trip into space is more than is more adventurous.
Okay, Rita, what do you think? You can choose yourself if you think that you did a better argument, or do you think you're persuaded by Evan from his argument?
I think this debate is really hard to decide that who is the winner because the topic itself doesn't have like a correct answer. And then it really depends on how the listener think about which one is better. It depends on their interest. So I really cannot decide it that who is the winner.
Usually it's not really the topic of which one you actually think, but it's more of the argument that is presented. So do you think that your arguments were better fit, or do you think that Evan had better arguments?
I think for me, I think it's a tie.
Okay, you think it's high, and what's the reason for that?
Because I think both of us do point out a couple like statement, like we kind of giving each other the feedback for each point. So I think that's why.
Okay. And Evan, you think yours is better. What do you think is something that Rita can improve on with her argument? Because you've done a lot more debates than her. What are some of
I think Rita is I think Rita's debate is very good. I mean, comparing to other students I met before, and I think Rita is real logic. His argument is really logic and reasonable. Yeah, I think. I think maybe it's just. I think maybe the problem is just about. I don't know. Maybe the definition of adventure, and I don't know, but I think that everyone might have different perspective in adventure. But for me, I think adventure if you want to compare to adventures, I think some maybe greatest adventure need to be more dangerous and risky, and that's my point. But maybe everyone has different point.
Okay. So you're saying that it depends on the definition of what everyone thinks adventure is. So if the person thinks adventure is something that's really challenging and dangerous, you would definitely think going to space is. And so your arguments are much better, but depending on what it is, right? Okay. Yeah. So usually Evan has a lot of suggestions that he can give. But I think Rita did a really good job too. So your logic is very well structured. So I think this is why that you guys are a good fit to debate against each other, because you're both very logical. So you guys can use supportive facts to support your reasoning and your answers so that it's very strong and concrete. That's great. Okay, so here, do you guys have any questions about today's lesson?
No.
Oh, okay. Evan, let me know when you would like to present. I'm going to leave like 10 minutes.
I can present every time because I just want to share you about some photos in my Facebook about my trip to one of my favorite trip many years ago in Lombok Island in
I
Indonesia.
love Lombok. Okay, that's great. Okay. I guess you can present next week. Rita, what we were talking about is that in our group class, we also have a presentation that students can prepare. They can either prepare a presentation. It's usually around 5 minutes. It can just be sharing about anything. So Evan's going to share some photos with us and share about his experience. And what the main purpose of presentations is for you to present something that maybe it's something you enjoy, a hobby, an experience, or anything. And for students to ask you questions about your presentation. So it's more of like spontaneous for you to think of an answer right there. And also for students to give feedback and give some criticism, some room of improvement for your next presentation. So it's just a very, very relaxed way of encouraging people and students to be very comfortable with presenting. So I'm sure that both of you have no problems. It's just for us to share a little bit about if you make a presentation, what you can improve on, maybe on your slides. If you don't have time to prepare slides, just share photos or anything is fine. Okay. So Evan, you can prepare it for next week. And then Rita, if you have time, let me know if you want to do it on the 17th, 24th, or the 31st. It's all fine. Okay?
Okay.
Great.
Okay, I'll let you know.
Okay, great. And you can also let me know the topic. It'll be great. And I'll see you guys same time next week then.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.